Okay, so we know that we've gone from the wrist control to the tricep control to the rocking forward to the pulling across to my chest to his to stepping around the corner, finding my base, switching my feet, and using my hips to control him. So from this position, from this turtle position, how can I easily take his back without having to fight for the hooks? Of course, if the person gives me so much space by straightening the arms and legs that he's up like this will never happen, right, unless the person's first day in the academy. But if he gives me this much space, fine. I can walk to here and put both feet in front and walk myself back and then put my feet up and over under and wait for here, right? Wait here and break him down. Never going to happen, right? That's not how people open once they have a little grappling experience. They're going to what? They're going to stay tight. He's going to try and shove his elbows inside his thighs. He's probably going to protect his neck like this or like this, one way or the other, crossed, and he's going to try and keep his butt down on his heels so there's no space here, like this, right? If there is space, just spin your head this way a little bit. If there is space, once I get to the back and I'm holding him like this, and he sits up and he makes space, I'm going to cover that space right here with my shin. Very uncomfortable for him, and it does two things. It prevents him from stretching the leg and then sitting back to the guard. Right? Go ahead and close the guard. Okay, it prevents that because he can't stretch the leg. And it prevents the roll. Because even if I would sit up a little bit, because the shin is blocking, when he goes to roll, look, it stops right here. And it's very uncomfortable for the guy. So he'll probably wait. He'll probably wait until you move to another position. If you feel like he's very, frisky or very aggressive once you take the back, or once you get to the turtle rather, then use the shin inside if he gives you the space to do so. In the meantime, I need to find a way to take the back a little more smoothly than just stepping up and putting both hooks in. So again, the over-under grip is nice here, but if you're using the grip to hold, you're going to get rolled off. It's all about the hips being heavy on his hips. So this space that he's closing off, I have to find a way to get inside that space. And what I can do is I can switch my feet and put my knee here, it's my forward knee now, inside by just driving like that. And look, that's what I want. I want the space between his arm and his thigh filled with my knee. And when I want to take the back, I just use this hand here and I hold the hip. I hold the hip like this. I'm cupping the hip like that on that side. Cupping the hip, the knee goes inside the hole. Right? And I step up on the back leg, and I'm just going to roll over the shoulder here and use the hand to drag the hip with me. That's it. And look, I land very nicely with my hand set. Take, boom, the over-under grip. Now, whether we end here on the weak side or we land here on the strong side doesn't matter because we have the back, and that's all we're looking for. We're not looking for a submission yet. We're not looking for anything fancy yet. We're looking to control the situation by maintaining the dominant position at all times. That's what jiu-jitsu should be about. It should be about always achieving and maintaining the dominant position. And then any submissions that happen are a consequence of that. But if you achieve and maintain the dominant position, you're always safe. That's the goal. Let's look at it from the reverse angle. So we start from this position here. I've already arm dragged him and run to the side, and I'm sitting on his back. My hips on his hips, heavy, and my base is wide, and I don't need the grips because the grips are an overcompensation for a weakness. All I want is to touch so I'm sensitive to where he's at. When I switch my feet, it's so that I can drive the knee, this knee, which is going to become the forward knee, right in this space right here on this side. You saw that on the reverse camera angle already. So you'll know what I'm talking about. This is so we can see what happens from the other side where we hold the hip. So I switch, and I put the knee inside, and I just hold the hip. This is going to work with and without a gi, because people may not have a gi, but they always have hips. And if they don't, you're probably not going to be fighting them anyway, right? So here we go. We're going to hold the hip, and we're just going to do a roll over the knee and bring him with me. And find our over-under grip, whether we end up strong side or weak side, doesn't matter. Let's go back. Here's what it looks like without a partner, right? Hold the wrist, and I arm drag, get him moving forward, and then go to the side, step, and then my hips have to go on his hips. All right, so I'm like this on his back. Now I sit through and I put the front knee in, and I hold the hip. And when it's time for me to go, maybe I angle myself a little bit like this, and I roll. I have to roll over the shoulder, and I'll end up with his back, and I go over, under, whatever side I'm on, whatever's more comfortable. Take what's natural. Don't make the mistake of collapsing to your side. If you collapse to the side without rolling, so you put the knee in, and you're holding, and you have the hip, and now instead of actually rolling over the shoulder, I just fall back into the side, he's going to just face me and maybe climb on top of me. I don't know what, right? Anything could happen, but it's not going to be good for me. Maybe he's going to run to the other side. Maybe he's going to face me. Maybe he's just going to keep going and shrimp away, like as if he were escaping the back traditionally. So let's not make that mistake. Make sure you roll. Once you have the back and control the hips with the hips, and you decide you're going to put your knee inside, switch the legs, put the knee in the front, hold the hip, and then roll. Go over the shoulder. Change your angle a little bit. You're not going to fall straight back. You're going to go there, over the shoulder. And he's going to come with you very nicely. All right, a little tip for the people who are training with the gi. You can use the gi here to your advantage very nicely. This works better than just holding the hip because it causes the entire upper body to spin. If the person doesn't have a gi, obviously this won't work, but for those who do have access to gi training, lift up a second and show them this is the grip I'm making. And it's not something that I use my strength to pull, it's not something that I wrench over, I'm simply holding on here like a suitcase handle. And when I put my front knee in, I just stop for a second here before I roll, and I find this grip. I just reach down and I find the grip. It has to be the same side gi, right? The same side of the gi, and it's going to make a nice grip. And as he sits up here, look, you'll see it's twisting his body this way, right? That's what I want. So when I roll, go ahead and go back down. When I roll and I keep this handle, look, it's just going to bring him to me very nicely. Right here is the grip. And then I still have the opportunity to go right to over under. Okay, let's go back. You can put your head that way and I'll do it from this side. So we start in the back position here, and my hips are heavy on his hips, and I switch to put the knee in the front. And now I make this grip on the gi. All right, go ahead and sit up. Here's the grip. Opposite side hand holds underneath, and it takes the same side gi. And when I roll, look, it just opens him up for the grip, or even for a choke if I'm that efficient, right? But for now, it's all about the position. Okay, guys, this makes sense? All right, let's go.